Y'all voted for it, so here it is. Celebrating the channel passing 50,000 subscribers, we're talking about Buck Strickland, who may not be good in many ways, some would argue anyways, but he's certainly good and entertaining.
Here's something Buck Strickland taught me. If you don't know someone's name, you can call them Buddy or Guy. Now, if a fella's lower on the ladder than you, Chief is a nice touch. Unless he's Native American. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Buddy.
Hey folks, welcome to Squirrel Tactics. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our Patreon, our sister channel, our merch store, and we have another new top tier patron this week. So, Shane Thompson, this one's for you.
All right. Someone's insane. Look out, someone's insane.
I got my eye on you, nutcase.
Alright, let's get into it. Buck Strickland. Buck is most likely his actual name, voiced by the always amazing Stephen Root, who also voiced Bill and is a Mike Judge staple.
They've moved my desk 4 times already this year, and I used to be over by the window and I could see the squirrels, and they were married.
Buck is the owner and, as far as we know, founder of Strickland Propane.
Propane. You use it to grill, to heat, to live.
Strickland Propane.
That's Strickland Propane of Texas. It has the main Arlen office and 4 directional branches, and it's not to be confused with the Strickland Propane of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Yeah, that is a completely and totally different thing.
Strickland Propane, Arlen, Texas, and Strickland Propane, Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Thank you all for visiting Strickland Propane. Don't taste the heat, taste the meat.
Dang it, what in the Sam hell is going on here? You're using my name and about 90% of my slogan.
He's also the owner of the local Arlen institution, Sugarfoot's Barbecue.
Sugarfoot's Barbecue. So sweet, you could eat it with your feet.
Whose name, funnily enough, comes from the nickname that his wife, Ms. Liz, had for him in apparently happier times.
There used to be a horseshoe over the door that we took off a horse on our honeymoon. And these walls, they used to be the same smoky color as your eyes. What have they done to Sugarfoot's? Sugarfoot?
Why, you ain't called me Sugarfoot in years.
I love how Buck decided on the location of the barbecue joint named after his wife's pet name for him, which is very much in character for someone like Buck.
You know, Debbie's place is right next to Sugarfoot's. That's a coincidence.
No coincidence. I like to eat, I like to hump, and I don't like to drive. So I built Sugarfoot's next to the Singles Complex.
He's an inductee into the National Propane Gas Consortium Hall of Fame, which is a stand-in for the real-life National Propane Gas Association.
Let's celebrate! Who wants breakfast whiskey?
Which does not have a Hall of Flame, and as such, Buck is a recipient of the coveted Rainbow Blazer.
The Rainbow Blazer. My coat of many colors that my mama made for me.
He's also a barbecue backroom boxing match promoter.
Hey, Bora, you'd take a punch for $100, wouldn't you?
No, sir.
200?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay, he's a fixed barbecue backroom boxing match promoter, but you know.
All right. You caught me with my pants down.
And let's not forget at one point he was a short-lived illegal food truck owner.
Let me tell you about another reckless driver, a man named Paul Revere. You see, he had a horse that ran very... Oh, screw it, old top. We're bribing the cops to stay in business.
He's on the take?
Mr. Buck, we need to stop by the green grocer and withdraw more salad.
Relax, he knows.
So we don't know when Buck started Strickland Propane. He supposedly started out with just a buck. Get it? Though I'm willing to bet that the story is BS and Hank fully knows it.
You know, Bobby, they say old Buck Strickland started out with nothing but a single dollar bill. And now he's at the top of the propane ladder.
However, we do know that Strickland Propane has been open for at least 40 years due to what's said when Travis retired, and that's what she said.
To Travis, may you have as many sick days in retirement as you had in your 40 years working at Strickland Propane, which is 3.
which is set in 2004, so he founded it in or before 1964. My guess is that it's been open somewhere between 40 and 50 years, because businesses typically make it known once they pass that half-century mark. We don't see much of Buck's younger days. At some point he married Miss Liz.
I don't know if you've ever ridden a block of ice before.
Well, I married Miss Liz, didn't I?
Also, at some point in the past, probably while married to Ms. Liz, he ran around with Cotton as much as Cotton could run around. And at this point, Cotton may or may not have been married to Tilly during their scooch hunting days. Let's be honest here, would any of us be shocked that Cotton was an adulterer?
Bobby, you're a funny boy. Yeah, I used to chase skirt with your granddaddy. He's a mean kind of funny.
It was also during this time before Buck met Hank that he fathered at least one of his bastard sons, known affectionately and collectively as Ray Roys, the eldest that we know of being Jody Strickland, a man who idolized his absentee father and took after him both as a propane man and as, well, other ways.
Are you the great Buck Strickland?
None other? Who are you?
Sir, I waited all my life to meet you. I'm your bastard son.
Well, happy dog. I guess he's my son. Ray? Roy? Ray Roy?
My name's Jody, but you can call me whatever you want. The important part of my name is Strickland.
Jody is at least in his mid-20s, and we're not sure how old the other Ray Roys are. I'm guessing at least one of them, we'll call him Ray Roy 1, is an adult or at least old enough to hire an attorney.
I tell you something, old top. If I knew this bad boy's secret, I could make me a second fortune. Might come in handy if my bastard son Ray Roy ever gets hold of a competent lawyer.
And we get a mention that there could be another Ray Roy. However, I think it might be possible that this Ray Roy, who will be known as Ray Roy 2, is in fact one and the same with Ray Roy 1.
He reminds me of my boy.
I didn't know you had a son.
Yeah, lives in a different town, different woman. Name's Roy Ray, something like that. After 16 years, I'm too embarrassed to ask.
Let's do some math here. Ray Roy 2 is at least 16 years old in Season 4's The Buck Stops Here, which is set in the year 2000. Ray Roy 1 is an adult in Season 11's Blood and Sauce, which is set in 2007, meaning Ray Roy 2 would be at least 23 years old, making it possible that Ray Roys 1 and 2 are the same person. Or they might be two separate guys. We really don't know. An argument could be made either way. Anywho, Buck has a brother named Randy. We meet him in Boxing Luann, and it seems the Strickland boys are very much cut from the same cloth.
Well, looky, who's back from rehab? It's my little baby brother.
I want my money, Buck.
You putting the squeeze on me really takes me back.
And it bears mentioning that at some point he came across a man known simply as Rooster, who we meet twice, once in The Buck Stops Here.
You get what you needed, Rooster? That boy give you the money and the watch?
The boy gave us the money. Took off with the watch.
What? God dang it, Bobby. Ho! I think I'm having an infarction.
Look through his pockets and take his shoes.
Then again in Trans-Fascism as Buck's illegal food truck competition after a ban on trans fats.
Rooster, what's he doing with a lunch truck? An illegal lunch truck? It's my territory now, Strickland. I'm taking over Alden's illegal food business.
And he's looking rather different as well as being outside his usual stomping grounds up in Pirate, Kansas. It could be a case of this being Rooster's son. I guess that'd make him a cockerel. Maybe Rooster Jr., call him Rooster Jew. But no, Buck makes it clear that this is the same Rooster. It's probably a Heck Dorland type situation.
Who is Rooster and why is he attacking us?
He's an old acquaintance of mine from Arkansas. Dirty as the day is long. Rooster, when I'm done with you, your nickname gonna be Chicken!
As far as when Buck met his would-be golden goose,
a business thrives on customer relations and back-breaking hard work. And that's the guy who gives it to you. Hank is the golden goose.
Ah, maybe Hank could be goose and monkey.
we know how it happens thanks to the good Buck, where we see a flashback to their first meeting.
There's a money-back guarantee on those. It's not the store's policy, it's just mine.
You do a damn fine job of selling dungarees there, Hank. But let me tell you what I'm selling. Propane.
Huh. Propane.
And we get an idea of when this was based off of the fact that Buck bought a pair of Jordache jeans, which weren't introduced until 1978. By the way, for those unaware, Jeans West was an actual clothing store chain that went bankrupt in 1999. And no, it's not connected to the Australian version of Jeans West. All one word. Well, Jeans West is one word, not Australian version of Jeans West as all one word. You know what I meant. That recently shut down. I'm thinking they met around 1982 due to this from the company man set in 1997.
15 years, I promoted him 15 times, all the way to assistant manager. You should be proud, son. You're his seed.
I'm my daddy's seed.
15 years before 97 would have been 82. Granted, this is contradicted by Peggy setting the date around 1986.
Do not worry, Hank. You have kept him out of trouble for 23 years.
But we're just going to imagine she said that in Spanish and ignore it. I do want to point out that we only see Buck afraid of two things in the show: accountability and Peggy Hill.
No, hell, this ain't gonna be good.
Because of your shameful behavior, my husband is in danger of losing all he has ever worked for. Hank has devoted his entire adult life to you and your company. He is your company. Without him, there is no Strickland Propane.
Well, there is the one in Tennessee.
Save it, Junior. You're punching the heavy bag.
Anywho, he continued Hank's propane Padawan training, teaching him things that he'd go on to teach others, like why and how to properly wipe a tank. Remember, feet to head, everyone's dead.
Yeah, you keep these tanks shiny and clean, they reflect more sunlight and stay cooler. That means less gas escapes through this here valve, see? Yeah, I taught you that.
We see just a slide of slightly younger Buck during Hank's 20th anniversary slideshow, officially known as 20 Years of Outstanding Service.
Here's Peggy and me whooping it up at the Young Gassers Ball.
It slides so longer than their marriage.
And we know from another flashback, this one in the company man, that it was around 1989 that Buck's one-time employee and eventual main competition, M.F. Thatherton, left the company.
Sorry to call a meeting in the skunk works, boys. I promise not to make a habit of it.
He did this in order to start his own propane dealership right across the street, Thatherton Fuels.
Thatherton Fuels. When you want propane done right, come to Thatherton Fuels.
I should go ahead and mention that in The Good Buck, we find out he lost Strickland North, most likely to known horse's ass Lane Prattley, and we never get confirmation that he ever gets it back.
I just lost a pile of money and a pair of Italian loafers to that sleazebag Lane Prattley. Oh, and you can cancel the morning run to Strickland North. I lost that too.
Oh, and of course, at one point he also temporarily brought Scrubbies under the Strickland umbrella.
Scrubbies Car Wash. Swing on by for cruise night.
Yeah, he mostly did that so he could start hooking up with Bob Chode's wife again.
What in the hell happened to Scrubbies? There's no one there for me to show off my new jalopy to.
Well, Mr. Strickland, I'm sorry to inform you that my neighbor Con recently purchased Scrubbies. It's fallen on hard times.
Just when the sun started shining again, someone throws a burlap sack over my head and beats me with a pipe.
I mentioned earlier that Buck was born, that's the current theory at least, though it is possible that Buck was a toilet baby due to the fact that he's one of the biggest pieces of shit that you'll ever meet. I tried to think of the most diplomatic way possible to call him a sleazy, cheating, backstabbing, good-for-nothing, drunken, sloven, womanizing, ungrateful, morally bankrupt yahoo, and I mean that in the most Gulliver's Travels way possible. Basically, he's a lot like Clark Griswold's boss.
Cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it, if someone frames me for murder, we're done. I don't care. You frame me for murder, we're done. Ain't gonna be none of this crap like Hank does.
You planted evidence? For me?
Yeah.
Oh, sugar fun.
Oh, sweet. Oh, what? No. Sorry about that whole frame up there, Tano. I was under a lot of stress.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess if my mistress had been murdered and my wife were a suspect, yeah.
The messed up thing is, they cut some of the sleaziest stuff. I mean, the original version of Buck seeing Luann for the first time is a perfect example of him going too far.
Hey, Hank, how do you like to swing on that gal's back porch?
Mr. Strickland, that gal is Hank's niece.
Well. Next Tuesday is Take Your Niece to Work Day. Bring her by.
One thing I noticed about Buck in the earlier episodes, I'm sure it was more about the animation change than anything else, but he looks more, let's say, lecherous in his earlier appearances. Definitely more like LBJ, but somehow he looks sleazier earlier on as opposed to later, when he's just as, if not more, sleazy, yet looks a bit better put together. His first appearance in person was in The Company Man, and yeah, his appearance was clearly originally based off of Lyndon B. Johnson, even down to the dog picture. He looks like LBJ. He holds meetings in the bathroom like LBJ had a penchant for doing, even when he was president. Let's not forget that Lady Bird was the nickname for LBJ's wife.
Hey, Hank.
Mr. Strickland?
What you got there, old top? The man I most admire, my daddy. Oh, you got that right, Bobby. 15 years, I promoted him 15 times, all the way to assistant manager. You should be proud, son. You're a seed.
He's less sleazy and LBJ looking from then on, starting in Snow Job, also known as the episode where Buck has heart infarction number 7.
I see your stockings are sure hung with care.
Buck?
God dang it, I'm having an infarction.
And he ends up making possibly the saddest snow angel in history, even though Bobby's trying to help him improve his form.
Dang it, no!
Mr. Strickland, you gotta use both arms, like me.
Now, this is where I want to point out some deleted scenes that I found interesting compared to the original versions. Well, if there is one.
Hey, Dad, how come I never got a Strickland calendar?
That's not for you, Bobby. You're not old enough.
Hey, Dad, how come I never got one of these calendars?
That's not for you, Bobby. You're not old enough.
Well, sure he is. He goes to school with some of them girls. How you like them tanks, Bobby boy? Don't worry, Hank. He don't know what I'm talking about.
I do too know what a propane tank is.
There's a scene of Buck's ambulance ride to the hospital with Hank there for support.
Clear!
No, go on, get those things off of me. You don't start a propane man's heart with electric paddles.
Just pound on his chest like a real doctor. How lazy are you people?
Oh, hot damn. Lucky number 7. You know anyone else who's had 7 tick attacks, Hank?
No, sir, you're the best. Remember that baboon heart they wanted to give you? Hell, that baboon's dead now. You outlived him.
As well as a different version of Hank confronting Buck after he discovered that Buck, as a propane man, has electric appliances in his house rather than running them on gas.
We're both men of the world. I got a whole bunch of electric appliances. They came with the house.
But, Mr. Strickland, you've always said that propane is God's gas. It's a higher calling.
Oh, hell, Hank, it's just a business. We're both men of the world. I got a whole bunch of electric appliances. They're better looking. They're easier to find and a hell of a lot cheaper.
No, not in the long run. I think you'll find that over time...
Time? Look at me, boy. I don't have the luxury of time. I had 7 tick attacks. I'm living for the here and now, see?
Also, as much crap as I give the show for a lack of continuity, I do want to give them kudos for Buck's heart surgery scar, which does not appear until after he had heart surgery in this episode. Granted, it was only his second appearance and they didn't really show his chest, but it does appear every time you see his chest afterwards, so kudos. This might also have been when Buck had several heart valves replaced, something that he mentions later on, though there's also something he mentions here that made my ears perk up.
Hank Hill has been my assistant manager for 20 years. In all that time, I've had 2 wives, dozens of mistresses, 5 heart valves, 3 plastic, 2 pig, but I only needed 1 Hank.
Wait. 2 wives since he met Hank? How long has he and Miss Liz been married?
And Liz! 2 hot daddies!
In addition, there's this where Hank mentions that Buck has been cheating on Miss Liz for as long as he's worked for him.
Oh, please don't make me choose sides. Mr. Strickland's been very good to me, and I've worked for him as long as he's been cheating on you.
Since Sugarfoots didn't exist until after they were married, it's Buck's pet name, plus the horseshoe from his and Miss Liz's honeymoon shows this, and it's considered an Arlen institution, meaning it's been around for a while, so how does this work? Plus, who's this second wife and where does she fit in here? Is she in another part of the country? Is Buck secretly Mormon? What's the frequency here, Kenneth? This is probably a good time to go ahead and talk about Buck and his extramarital dalliances. And that means we gotta bring back the Buck Strickland workmistress timeline. He hooked up with Debbie for rather obvious reasons.
Hank! Stop it!
Oh, God.
This ain't over! Nobody rejects Timmy Grund!
Well, I just did.
Systems manager. Well, hell, I like the sound of that. Debbie, that's your new title.
No! She's not in systems. You disrespect important job.
Well, I can't imagine anything more important than what Debbie does.
Up until her death in season 4's Hanky Panky. Then there was the first Donna from accounting, who's first mentioned in season 3's Pregnant Pause.
Mr. Strickland, there's something I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, Hank, I'd love to give you a raise, but the accounting department said, Buck, stop letting the employees put your lemons in a vice.
Donna said that?
My hands are tied.
Though many think her first mention was later that same season in Pretty Pretty Dresses.
Well, it's a matter of life or death, really.
Yeah. Just wrap it up one way or t'other. And have Donna zero out your vacation days.
Dang it, Bill.
She's the Donna that Buck calls for after striking out with Tammy. Funny that Buck fails to get with the founder of Arlen, who ends up getting with several of Arlen's businessmen.
You know, Tammy, I run a private propane tutorial retreat up my lake house. If you got a thirst for knowledge and margaritas, I'm free this weekend.
Thanks, Buck, but I'm pretty booked up this weekend. Most weekends, actually.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Donna, get in here.
And he kept things going with Donna up until she was fired around season 6's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret Hill.
I just figured out who's been stealing the office supplies. It's Donna. Found them in a bedroom.
Good detective work, sir.
Yeah, well, I was getting tired of her anyway. So it looks like you gotta find us a new Donna. Make sure you find one that isn't always asking, what are you thinking about?
I do love the gag that Buck discovered the stolen office supplies while at Donna's for a little slap and tickle, something that completely goes over Hank's head, as well as the fact that Buck is tucking his shirt in because he just got redressed. A quick aside, the scene for Pretty Pretty Dresses there has Hank getting his vacation days zeroed out due to taking time off. This was in season 3 episode 9. However, in season 4 episode 4, Little Horrors of Shop, we get this, which is what sets up the entire main plot.
Hank, when was the last time you took a day off?
Well, I took a day off when Bobby was born, but I wasn't really sick. I meant to tell you, it just slipped my mind. I did come in that Saturday.
What? You get the hell out of here, Hank. I'm getting squeezed by some insurance company pencil stain who claims working too long without a vacation can make you sloppy. And when you're sloppy in the propane biz, people die. And then my premiums go up.
Sorry, I just noticed that inconsistency when I was going through all 51 episodes that Buck appears in. Anywho, out with Donna number 1 and in with Donna number 2, who first appears in season 7's The Miseducation of Bobby Hill.
Enrique, nice clip-on, looking good. Donna, thanks for clearing your desk. I know how much you like your unicorns.
This would have been the Donna that Buck was caught with by Ms. Liz when they split up in The Good Buck, which might have been them splitting up for good, seeing as we don't so much as get a mention of Ms. Liz after that episode.
My wife threw me out.
What?
Yeah, I had Donna over at the house. The old crow found us in flagrante on the credenzi. It's all over. She said she could handle my drinking binges and my gambling and even turn a blind eye to my extramarital escapades, but not when they happen all at once and on her birthday.
This also wasn't the first time that she'd left Buck. It happened earlier in Hanky Panky after she caught Buck and Debbie out in public together.
Now, Miss Liz, just calm down here. We in public.
You are in public with this little bimbo in front of half our Christmas card list. Are those my mother's earrings?
Granted, it should be mentioned that there was no indication that Buck was married before Hanky Panky. In fact, in season 3, he says this.
Yeah. Let's make some hound dog. I'm late for a bachelor auction.
And if he was married, why would he need Hank to feed his hound dogs in season 2? Like, does Ms. Liz not feed dogs? What's going on with that? My guess is that he originally wasn't meant to be married, and his marriage to Ms. Liz was just added on later. And yes, let's also not forget that once he and Ms. Liz apparently split up for good, a newly single Buck went after Luann, again for obvious reasons. It's almost like Buck has a type or something. However, his marriage proposal went about as well as anyone would expect it to, considering there's a good 40-year age difference between those two.
You're very nice, but you're totally old. I like young guys who love Jesus, but have fitness and hair.
But no. You see, I got everything. She spurned me. I've been spurned.
Now, these mistresses were in addition to whatever action he was getting here and there, including the aforementioned Bob Choade's wife, as well as whatever women he can pick up while perusing the sales floor at Strickland Propane.
All this car wash business brought me back together with Bob Choate's wife. I'm gonna put on some cologne and renew my acquaintance with Jerry Sandoval's wife. That'll show him we mean business. It's money out of my pocket, but I'm doing it for the children. You see, I got a kid somewhere.
So do I.
Well, I find that hard to believe. You take the next customer, Hank. I'm gonna handle this one personally.
We can't talk about Buck without talking about his relationship with his golden goose, Hank Hill, who views Buck as a mentor and father figure who led him to the great land of Goshen that is propane and propane accessories. For Buck, Hank has been everything from golden goose to chaperone to chauffeur to sometimes therapist, and pretty much everything in between. Yeah, the only way to handle this is with a montage.
Oh, I don't know what to do anymore, Hank.
There, sir.
I'm at the top of the mountain, all right. And you're my, what do you call them goat men that keep you from freezing to death?
You're his Sherpa, honey.
10:35. Right about now, Trixie's reloading her bandoleros with lollipops.
I know those dancers meant a lot to you, sir, but there's more to life than gentlemen's clubs.
Cancel them. You gotta run to my farm, feed my emus for me. Here, feed them with this.
You want me to shoot your emus?
I got no choice. Bottom fell out of the emu market, and I'm stuck on the ass of the pyramid.
But, sir,
I want them emus dead, Hank. Make it look like a heart attack. It seems Enrique's been short filling their tanks.
Well, why would he do that?
Well, I told him to. Oh, wow! No, keep your distance. I just need some air. You heard me. I'm having a goddamn heart attack.
Mr. Strickland, get in.
Get him.
Hugged by an Indian. We're winning big tonight. Oh, heck, Hank, I believe you. I know you don't have sex.
Well, that is not exactly accurate.
I had it all, Hank. I had a good wife to mother me. I had a pretty young girlfriend. I was living like a Frenchman. But I blew it. I lost my wife and my money. And now, I want my wife and my money back. Who wants to buy propane from some no-licensed castrado? I tell you what, old top. How would you like it if I made you assistant manager of building this house?
You mean it? Well, thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on, Donna. Mr. Strickland is trying to get a word in edgewise. I forgot how high emotions run at these meetings.
I tell you what, if Bobby works half as hard as you, I'll pull a few strings, grease a few palms, get him a job as a caddy at the golf club.
Well, that would be great, sir. Hey, I love golf. Maybe if, sometime... I know you love golf, too, and I thought...
Oh, Hank, you too old to be a caddy. Get back to work.
It's not right, Buck. You can't make deliveries with a clock on you. What if you see a cat stuck in a tree or a individual committing an injustice? You're gonna just keep driving?
Let's not fight each other, all right? That's just what the electric company wants, see? Got to keep our eye on the big picture. Do we love propane, Hank?
You know we do.
Well, that's the spirit. Now get out there and feed my dogs. Right here. I'm betting Hank.
What?
If you win, you get him for the week.
All right, I call.
But, sir, you always bet Joe Jack.
I can't this time. He's selling. You're crapping the big goose egg.
All right, bet's on. Show 'em.
2 pair, 7 high.
Full house.
No, that's where them aces were hiding.
Hank, you stand there and look like a poker chip. I'll come get you in a minute.
Careful!
This whole thing has gotten way out of hand. I thought this truck would help, but it's making things worse. I don't think I can be a part of it.
Oh, you can't quit now, Hank. If we walk away, Arnold will be at the mercy of Rooster. You want that? No! I hate work, Hank. It's so god-awful boring. How you don't kill yourself is beyond me. You've been here 20 years. I know your birthday. I know it. It's September. It's 22, 20, 29.
How did you get locked in there?
DWI, Hank. Blew a .2. Just a couple of 3-3 eggnogs. Hell, that shouldn't count, seeing as how it's Christmas and all.
But why would you call in a false propane emergency? We're looking at a $50 fine once I report us. I'm not gonna say... Hell, I am gonna say what I have been wanting to say. Buck Strickland is a monster. A drunk monster. Buck Strickland is nothing but a wicked, disgusting bastard making bastard.
Listen, Hank, we got all our clients here, big fish, little fish, so if you see some little fish cornering me, it's your job to pull me out.
We should treat all our clients like big fish, Mr. Strickland.
Yeah, good. Save that for the little fish. Oh, Scout's on Roy. If Hank says those tanks were filled, by God, those tanks were filled.
Actually, sir, if you recall, what I said was...
Woo! I don't like to get this sweaty. Listen, I have a, little lady to towel off on.
We lost the account, didn't we?
Buck just called for you, honey. He's down at the Frozen Cow.
Again? He's just trading one vice for another.
All I know is he wants you to bring him some pants.
Now, what are you waiting for, Hank? Go! Yeah! Come and get me, you son of bitches! Hank, come on, step on it, go!
Buck does eventually promote Hank to full-fledged manager. However, Hank gets overwhelmed and, well, he ends up going right back to being assistant manager, though it's kind of messed up that he'd get demoted for telling his mentor and father figure he loved him after finally being promoted to manager after like 20 years of trying.
I'm promoting you to manager.
Oh, manager? Oh, Mr. Strickland, I love you.
Oh.
It should be noted that many seasons later, Buck does call him son when it's his turn to bail Hank out rather than the other way around.
Son, welcome to the club. Come on now, give me a hug.
Thanks, Mr. Strickland.
Something I'm sure a lot of y'all were wanting me to cover is Buck's nickname of sorts for Hank, seeing as he often calls him Old Top.
Gotta keep up with the times, Old Top. Oh, screw it, Old Top. We're bribing the cops to stay in business. Slow down, Old Top. If you go on workers' comp, I can have Joe Jack's cousin fill in for you for half the pay and still have half to buy my new lady some studio time. All of Propane owes you a debt. Most importantly, I owe you a debt. Thanks, Old Top.
And it's not just Hank that we see Buck call this, an example being Rich from That's What She Said.
Ready to hit the links, Old Top? Don't want to keep the clients waiting?
You kidding, sir? I've been looking forward to it all week.
Oh, yeah. About that, Hank.
This is simply an outdated and rarely used nowadays term of endearment, like saying old friend or old pal or good buddy. Something along those lines. It dates back to 1853, and it should be noted that the first documented usage of the line was "Give her hell, Old Top." I mentioned his understandable fear of Peggy.
No, hell, this ain't gonna be good.
And to be fair, Buck did unintentionally spend several $1,000s to sponsor Peggy when she competed in a beauty pageant in Peggy's Pageant Fever because he thought Luann was the one he was sponsoring.
Missus, what the hell's she doing here?
She is my stylist, and like yourself, a big part of Team Peggy Hill.
Debbie, did you finish writing up that check?
Yes, Buck!
Oh.
And apparently once he agreed, he either had the scruples to stick to his word or was just that afraid of Peggy. I'm going to go ahead and say it was probably the latter.
You think your missus will like it?
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope so. This is the most I've spent on a woman without getting anything in return, if you know what I mean.
Don't worry about it, Buck. You've backed a winner.
She could have smiled at least.
She is smiling.
Buck also hasn't been the best of Bobby, who Buck actually likes because he reminds him of one of his Ray-Roys, and it's Buck who payrolls the whole Propaniacs thing, as well as taking Bobby on as his own personal caddy.
Bobby, you cheated.
There was money on the game. Besides, Link Bradley's a horse's ass.
But ultimately, he takes him to a backroom card game in Arkansas, and when Bobby can't get in because he's a child and even these guys have a line they don't cross, a line that Buck has no issue vaulting over, seeing as he leaves Bobby in a dark alley holding money and heart pills.
I'm gonna take half my betting money. You hold on to the rest. Here, hold on to my heart pills. If I'm losing my shirt in there, I'm gonna fake a heart attack. Now that's your cue to come in, waving the pills, screaming, "My daddy's having a heart attack! My daddy's having a heart attack!"
I know we shouldn't expect better from Buck. Hell, I wonder what would have happened if Cotton found out about Buck doing that to Bobby. Hank would probably be in charge of Strickland Propane, I can tell you that. As it pertains to how Buck runs Strickland Propane, well, it ain't great. Seriously, there'd be no Strickland Propane without Hank. Though Buck in his own way looks at his employees like his little children. Well, yeah, when it fits him, I suppose.
Strickland is a family. I'm like the daddy, and the daddy ain't feeling so good. So it's up to you kids to become leaders. Make sure daddy's business don't get run into the ground. You work for me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Strickland.
I'm your daddy.
We've seen him take money out of the company's petty cash for reasons ranging from being tapped out in poker to keeping the girls down at Jug Store Cowboys happy.
Just don't grab a soda, fellas. Okay, boys.
Wait a second. Donna, does Buck know the combination to the cash box?
Sure. Every time he'd go to Jug Store Cowboys, he'd help himself to some 20s.
That's why business is up. It's just because Buck isn't raiding the register and blowing the money at the strip bar.
Hank, let you and me go bet on the ponies. I'll just get some cash from the safe.
Don't bother, sir. I changed the combination.
Yeah, but it's always been my birthday.
Well, now it's my birthday. What's going on, sir? The last time we played this game, Joe Jack got hit with a paternity suit.
He isn't known for having the best decorum when it comes to getting rid of employees, even good ones who have put up with his shenanigans for years.
Joe Jack, give me a hand outside with the sign.
Sure, honey. What's up?
You're fired. There. I just saved us $400 a week.
Wait, I need this job.
Sorry, no room in the lifeboat.
When he comes back, I say we throw a blanket over his head and do what feels right.
Yeah, Buck did that to save $400 a week, roughly $600 today, yet he spent $20,000 on an appearance fee for the guys from American Chopper.
It would burn to the days of death. You know what? Get the out of here. And don't bother coming in tomorrow because you're terminated. Good, it's about time.
Which was at one point an extremely popular show, though by 2008 their star wasn't shining quite as bright. In fact, the original series was canceled not long after this episode, but hey, Buck got his branding that didn't work at all.
Anyway, it's called branding.
Ah, you hear that, Dad? Didn't you hear that? AA1, I'm gonna brand all your asses.
He made the entire staff suffer after he was caught illegally dumping used propane tanks into the Cottonwood River.
Why would they say that?
Because they're jackals. They're trying to fill their news holes. And because they got proof.
Dang it, Mr. Strickland. I don't understand how you can be Strickland's greatest asset and its greatest liability.
Calm down. I didn't know it was illegal. I was trying to create a coral reef for all the dolphins and whatnot.
In a river?
Geez, Buck, that's possibly the worst excuse so far. By the way, for those unaware, there is no Cottonwood River in Texas. However, there are 2 Cottonwood Creeks, both of which run through Guadalupe County. Anywho, yeah, Buck makes the company go green and forces everyone to drink what he drinks, all the while complaining about the problem that he created. You know, par for the course as it pertains to Buck Strickland.
Mr. Strickland, about that little fridge you keep in your office?
I am not drinking a warm long neck.
Well, at least put the door back on.
Fine. Now, if you're not gonna let me have my own little bottles of water, then we all drinking raspberry ice.
Buck is the king of his gas and barbecue kingdom, though he may not exactly be what most of us would think of as regal.
I am not a history buff, but I tell you, I don't remember Louis XIV spending his days pulling hippie hair out of drains.
You're out of tortilla chips, Buck.
Well, that's it. Debbie, get me my flip-flops. I'm going to shave in the pool.
It's not just his propane dealership employees he sees as lesser. He refers to the workers at Sugarfoot's as the help. And yeah, no, that's just wrong.
Now, don't worry. The place runs itself. The help makes the barbecue. I make the money.
And of course, no video about Buck would be complete without his sad, probably drunken, topless fistfight with Thatherton.
We're making those animals at natural gas look like choir boys. Okay, now let's all calm down. You're grown men. Arlen Hospital can't handle 2 bypasses at once.
And yeah, if I were Hank, I'd have let them just keep going. That's not the kind of entertainment you come across every day. I mean, come on, he got in a fight with his son over who got to hook up with a woman first. And I'm pretty sure that they've had a partner swap and foursome at some point.
What the? I told you to stand in line. You didn't stand in line, boy.
Hell, Daddy, that line was moving too slow. I just had to do cutsies.
I've heard of Family Style, but geez. Buck is the kind of guy that fights a stranger over the last strip club buffet egg roll. That might be all you need to know about the man.
Drop that egg roll if you won't keep your arm. Ha!
So, Buck Strickland, I mean, what can I say? He's a shitty person that uses everyone around him to the greatest extent that he can. He has no issues with lying, cheating, stealing. Hell, the last time we see him in the show is when he's heading off to cut off Thatherton's finger due to a bet. No one else in this world matters to Buck except for Buck. Now, he does care about others, but only so far as he can still use them for his benefit. He's more or less selfishness incarnate, and though he is entertaining as all get out, yeah, you can't argue that he's not way worse than Peggy. He is. He's arguably the most morally bankrupt character on the show. Easily the most morally bankrupt of the long-running characters. I think the saddest thing about Buck's character is how realistic he is. This is how a lot of business leaders are, especially in small towns to mid-sized cities. I've known some Buck Stricklands. A lot of times they're also city council members. Sometimes they're even mayors. Unfortunately, a lot of our society is run by Buck Stricklands. They stay on the up and up because of Hanks. Every Buck has a Hank to clean up their messes, kind of like how every Rick has a Morty. And he's more than willing to do what's necessary to keep his Hank, even if it means getting rid of someone else who might cause Hank to leave.
Well, hell, I never thought it was funny neither. Terrible stuff. It's vulgar is what it was.
But Buck...
Watch it, Rich, or I'll turn Hank loose with a toilet scrubber.
He's married to a woman that my comment section certainly believes is quite the looker, and yet he cheats on her constantly, publicly, and on her birthday.
I can forgive my husband's benders and the profanity and his inappropriate comfort with all aspects of the human body. But it's the women, Hank. My purse of forgiveness is finally empty.
Again, it's never expressly stated that the two of them got divorced after their last split, though she's never mentioned afterwards. Buck is more or less the anti-Hank, where Hank is all about honor, respect, duty, and all that good stuff. Buck sees much of that as just old-fashioned tomfoolery and thinks that Hank needs to open his eyes and get with the times. He's much more profit over people minded than Hank. He'd rather use cheap, shiny words than leave money on the table. I doubt it's a coincidence that his name is another word for dollar as well as another word for a stag, because a money stag Buck Strickland very much is. He's sleazy, backstabbing, self-centered, and if for some reason you got through this whole rigmarole without getting irritated at him, there's always this.
You ever see someone fish for $40, Bobby?
No.
Watch this. Look at him go! He makes in a year what I make in a week.
Fuck you, Buck. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see y'all next time.
This is the Hill residence. Please leave a message at the beep.
Hey, get your old buddy, Buck Strickland. That Vickers mucked things up worse than Jack Kennedy at Piggy Bay, so I got no drivers. I got no right-hand man. I need you, old top. I need you bad.